Hi, and welcome to Come Out Punching, your weekly installment in the world of sports. And today I wanted to start off with a few things, starting with the conclusion of Week 16 in the NFL. Um, we started to see what teams are getting ready for the playoffs, what teams are getting ready for the draft, and what teams are actually getting ready to relocate. Now, that's actually where I wanted to start off with today. Teams getting ready to relocate possibly at the end of this season, neither to the San Diego Chargers, St. Louis Rams, or Oakland Raiders have home games this week 17, and those three teams are in discussion to move to LA. Um, LA is in desperate need of an NFL team, and the NFL team is in desperate need of LA having an NFL team. So I'm definitely almost 100% sure that LA will have an NFL team at the start of the 2016 NFL season, and that is because LA is the second biggest market in the United States. So out of the three teams, I believe each team has a high chance of coming to LA. They all have a reason why they want to come to LA. However, I'm gonna take those two teams out of the equation and tell you why one team is more adequate to be here in LA at this time. And I'm going to start off with saying the San Diego Chargers, although they have a good chance of coming to LA, I think out of the three, they're the least likely team to be moving to LA. They already have a established tradition in San Diego, I would like to say, of over 50 years. And although they haven't won in San Diego, they've never won the Super Bowl, but they've been really good teams in the Chargers. They've gone to a Super Bowl once, but I think San Diego supports the Chargers. They love the Chargers, and they do have a loyal fan base down in San Diego. So that alone should keep the Chargers in San Diego. And they have no tradition here in LA. Now, the other two teams have a higher chance, but I still think this team has a lower chance, which is the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders, some may argue that they have a higher chance than the St. Louis Rams because the Raiders have a tradition, they have a fan base. The Coliseum in Oakland is not the best stadiums in the NFL, but LA and the Raiders, although the Raiders did win one out of their three championships here in LA, I think the Raiders are better suited for in Oakland. They've done well in Oakland, although that black hole has been kind of the Raiders' establishment in what they stand for. Although the Coliseum is not in great condition, the black hole in Oakland has been great to the Raiders. It stands with the Raiders. Yes, the Raiders have a tradition here. However, they're not for them being in Oakland, I think it creates a really good rivalry with the 49ers. Now, they both haven't been good at the same time. The Raiders are coming up, and the 49ers seem to be getting ready for the draft, getting ready to rebuild. But when those two teams are good at the same time, it creates a great rivalry up north in Northern California. So I believe the Raiders should stay in Oakland, stay put for now, and see how it works out with the team that I do want in LA, and that is the St. Louis Rams. Now, the St. Louis Rams also have a tradition here in LA. They have a fan base here in LA, maybe not as strong as others, but there is fans that for the Rams here in LA. And in St. Louis, bottom line, St. Louis is a baseball city. They support the St. Louis Cardinals 110%. There's fans for the Rams in St. Louis, but they're not as strong as the fans that support the Cardinals. So therefore, out of those three teams, the best bet for the NFL to bring in money, which is what the NFL cares about at the end of the day, is to bring the St. Louis Rams here to LA. Now, moving on from that, a recent report came out in regards to stating that Peyton Manning has been using the last 2 years or used HGH, human growth hormone. And I wanted to ask my viewers, what was your input on that? Not so much in do you care if he used it or not, or does it really matter? Does it, um, how can I explain it? So I'm against any sort of use of HGH, steroids, anything in any sport. I would, if Peyton Manning's found guilty, I would suspend him 4 games next season, and possibly even a fine for HGH. And that's not just for Peyton Manning, that's for every other NFL player. However, the argument on that is, so HGH, human growth hormone, is supposed to enhance your abilities or your endurance, or make you maybe not faster or stronger, but it can probably heal you faster. You can heal faster from injuries. And that is what, according to the report, Peyton Manning used HGH. He had a neck injury 2 years ago, and to heal a little faster, used HGH. Now, I ask, does HGH, is the use of HGH okay in the consumer view if it doesn't enhance your ability on the field? So, for example, Peyton Manning, older guy, 36, 37, for sports, uses HGH to heal from that neck injury. However, if it doesn't affect them on the field, should he be fined, suspended, um, maybe even banned from the league? Who knows? He's a big name. And the argument is that if it doesn't affect your ability on the field, should there really be a suspension or a fine? What do you guys think? I personally think so, that there should be a fine and a suspension, whether it affects your on-field performance or not. But that's up to the league to discuss, and we have to see if Peyton Manning at the end of the day is guilty or not. And if he is, suspension 4 games next season, a possible fine. And if he is not guilty, good for him, more respect towards him, and hopefully he comes back stronger and faster next year, right? And moving on to my tilt or break games of this coming week, this final week of the NFL, I have Minnesota at Green Bay and Seattle at Arizona. Now, Minnesota at Green Bay, it's the division title, winner take all. Winner gets the 3rd seed in the NFC and a first round home game in the playoffs. Now, it's funny because, so Green Bay, Minnesota, one of them will get 3rd. Washington is stable at number 4. And whoever loses of that game will probably get the 5th seed, and Seattle can get the 5th seed or the 6th seed. So neither team wants to face Seattle in the first round. That's my opinion. I don't think Green Bay wants to face Seattle. I don't think Minnesota wants to face Seattle. So if Minnesota ends up winning the division, Washington 4th, Green Bay 5th, Seattle 6th, do you let the game go and you finish 6th, Minnesota finishes 6th, and let Green Bay finish 3rd? So Green Bay can face Seattle? Or do you win the division and see how it plans out? Whoever wins the division is either going to play that same team again or the Seahawks. Like I said, I don't think anyone wants to face the Seahawks. And now for the Seahawks Week 17 game, it's versus the Arizona Cardinals. It's a division game, a rivalry game. I think Arizona is the hottest team in the NFL right now. Kansas City doesn't fall far behind, but Arizona is the team to beat in the NFC. And this will be a good test. Arizona's still fighting for something, which is that 1st seed in the NFL, or in the NFC, if Carolina happens to lose the game versus Tampa. And if Arizona gets the number 1 seed, it's going to be a tough road for every NFC team to go to Arizona and win a game there. And at this point, Arizona has to be the favorite in the NFC. So We'll see if Seattle knocks them off. Seattle can get the 5th seed in the NFC, or if they lose, they'll definitely be getting the 6th seed. So we'll see how things plan out. I have Green Bay winning against Minnesota, and I have Arizona winning versus Seattle. Now, my interesting fact of a state today is I'm going to be talking about Washington State. And Washington State, as of 2013, was the only state in the United States to, check this out, have cannabis, same-sex marriage, and assisted suicide all legal. So keep it up, Washington State. Keep it liberal, and you know where to go. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment. And otherwise, feel free to leave your opinion. I'll be having a guest soon, so stay tuned for that. Have a good night.